It's Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, and here's what's happening locally. The second COVID-19 related death has been reported. What we know next. Plus, one of Cattaraugus County's top health officials joins us with an update on how the outbreak is affecting them.
And the clouds are thickening up this afternoon. That will continue with a few rain showers this afternoon and tonight. We'll talk about it and more as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our top story, this just in, officers in Chautauqua County have reported incidents of where people are spitting and coughing at them during this ongoing COVID-19 global pandemic. That's according to Chautauqua County District Attorney Patrick Swanson, who says an incident occurred in Dunkirk recently. Swanson, during an interview with us just moments ago, denounced the actions of those individuals.
To me, it just boggles the mind that someone would do something like that. You know, you have these police officers that in their day-to-day lives, when things are normal, are putting themselves in harm's way, protecting our communities. But with the current circumstances, not only are they putting themselves in harm's way and their health in harm's way, they're potentially exposing people that are close to them, their family members and other people they interact with on a regular basis. So, there's a real concern if someone decides to do this to a police officer, and we want to make sure that we're doing what we can here.
Now, Swanson says the range of charges includes second-degree attempted assault, third-degree menacing, and a violation of second-degree harassment. Well, the Chautauqua County Health Department reported the second COVID-19 related death yesterday. County officials say the deceased male was in his 70s. Additionally, officials say another person, a man in his 40s, has tested positive for the virus, bringing the number of confirmed cases to 19 and active cases to 10.
We also have 91 cases under mandatory quarantine or isolation orders by the public health director, and these are being monitored. Not all of those being monitored are confirmed COVID-19, but have either shown symptoms, awaiting test results, or have high risk factors.
That's Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell, who says overall 7 people have recovered here in Chautauqua County. Now, the Cattaraugus County Health Department has reported its 10th confirmed case of the virus. Officials there say a male resident who lives in the southeastern part of the county with no significant travel history was admitted to Olean General Hospital on April 3rd for fever, cough, weakness, chest, and abdominal pains. Now, chest x-rays revealed that he had pneumonia. The patient was then tested for COVID-19 upon admission, and on Sunday, the results of his test indicated that he was positive for the virus. Well, as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to grow, Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that New York State's on pause order has now been extended through April 29th. Statewide schools and the continued closure of all non-essential businesses are included in this order. Previously, schools had been ordered to close until April 15th. Now students will have to continue with distance learning beyond that. Addressing New Yorkers breaking social distancing precautions, the governor announced that maximum fines for violations would double from $500 to $1,000.
Frankly, there has been a laxness on social distancing, especially over this past weekend, that is just wholly unacceptable. Show discipline for other people. If you get infected, you infect someone else, you go to an emergency room, you put a burden on all sorts of other people who you don't know and who, frankly, you don't have the right to burden with your irresponsibility.
Also Monday, the New York State Department of Education made the decision to cancel Regents exams that were scheduled for June. And just today, they have released more guidance in regards to graduation. Our newsroom staff is working on that, and we'll have an updated post at WNYNewsNow.com and on our mobile app in just a few minutes. Well, as of last night, the novel coronavirus has killed nearly 11,000 people nationally. That according to Johns Hopkins University. And CDC officials are now warning that cases could have been undercounted. John Lawrence explains more.
The University Hospital emergency room in Brooklyn packed with COVID-19 patients fighting to breathe.
We've had a bunch of people die in a very short period of time, which we, are prepared for. But when it happens so many times in one shift, it's pretty hard to tolerate.
This week, the United States surpassed 10,000 reported deaths related to the virus.
The challenge is to make sure that we don't lose anyone who could have been saved if our healthcare system was operating fully. Don't lose anyone who you could save.
And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the number of COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. may be higher than its count. The CDC says that's due to two main reasons. This information usually lags a week or two, and some may be misclassified as pneumonia deaths in the absence of positive test results.
With COVID, the pneumonia is not just in one lung, but rather in both lungs, leaving the patient with no good lung.
In the meantime, health officials say the coronavirus still poses a serious threat.
But I believe with the therapies that will be coming online and with the fact that I feel confident that over a period of time we will get a good vaccine, that we will never have to get back to where we are right back now.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. Some international leaders chiming in. They believe that COVID-19 deaths are underreported because of an overall lack of testing for the virus. Well, Facebook is now joining the fight against the novel coronavirus. The social media platform is working with researchers to use its data to slow the pandemic. Facebook will use its tools to help predict where COVID-19 will appear next. The platform is able to analyze collected data on population movement and connectedness. This can bring insight into the effectiveness of lockdown measures. Facebook is careful to say that the tool does not violate personal data. Rather, the data shows patterns at a city or a county level that can be useful to public health officials. Google unveiled a similar offering to fight the pandemic last week. Well, if you've been keeping your house nice and tidy while you're home, today is a day to give that a rest. It's National No Housework Day, where officials say give the laundry a break, leave a few dishes in the sink, and let the scattered toys stay that way, all until Wednesday anyways. Well, hopefully everyone is having a good Tuesday, and hopefully not too much housework is out there for you. Let us know what you think in the comments below in regards to the COVID-19 outbreak as we continue to put facts over fear in our coverage and trying to keep everyone informed here locally with the best data that we can. Got to say hello to Joseph Dina joining us from Florida. Good to see you. Hopefully you can send some of that weather our way. Jay, good afternoon to you. He's on his 15-minute break saying hello to WNY News Now and the viewers. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. Thanks for joining us, Jay. We appreciate you so much. Hello to Jessica as well. She says, spitting at the police, that should be automatic jail time. Certainly during this time, it's a very dangerous thing to do. Well, let's now shift gears and get a check of our weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. Happy Tuesday to you, Mr. Dakota.
Happy Tuesday, Jay. And talking about Florida weather, it's going to be feeling almost like Florida today, not with the humidity, but yeah, do not get used to that because big changes are on the way. Satellite and radar shows you the clouds starting to fill in today, and the rain is actually not too far away. We'll zoom it out. There it is. This is the rain that's coming our way this afternoon and especially tonight. But so far, we're dry right now, but that won't be staying that way for long. Snowfall. I know we're in April and it's kind of odd to hear about snow, but it's actually not as odd as you might think. The average snowfall for the month of April is around 2.5 inches. We're still at 70.3, obviously. Are we going to get any snow this month? Stay tuned to the end of the week. We'll let you know on that. The high yesterday, that's a hint for you. 56 degrees was the high yesterday, 42 was the low this morning, 80 and 9 degrees are in the record books for today. Through the afternoon today, partly sunny early. The clouds are already thickening up from west to east today. Showers will develop west to east. It remains quite mild. 56 at the immediate Lake Erie waterfront, 64 well inland with a west wind averaging about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Showers and storms tonight. Some of them could be stronger and yeah, colder air for the end of the week. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, Jay.
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Coming up, a top health official from Cattaraugus County joins us next with how the outbreak is affecting them. Stay with
us. You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
This is Christine Schuyler, Chautauqua County Public Health Director, with a very important message. We need you to make every effort to protect yourselves and our healthcare workers. If you absolutely don't need to go out, don't. If you have a mild cold or flu-like symptoms, with or without a fever, stay home. If your symptoms are severe, call your healthcare provider. Do not go to the emergency room or urgent care. Do not call 911 or go to the ER unless you are experiencing a life-threatening emergency. The best ways you can help prevent the spread of COVID-19 are to wash your hands often with soap and water, cover your cough, avoid close contact with others. Please stay home.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. It has been 3 weeks since officials in Cattaraugus County declared a state of emergency to combat the novel coronavirus outbreak there. Joining us live is Cattaraugus County's Health Director, Dr. Kevin Watkins, to talk more about how the virus is affecting his community. Dr. Watkins, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Justin.
First off, can you tell us about what the response has been like for your office?
Well, we had to fill a number of calls regarding questions on COVID-19, and we have been able to deal with those questions that we have. For the department itself, however, we have been in a mode of almost 24 hours of dealing with COVID-19, and thanks to our emergency operations center that opened up, it has taken some of the calls that we have dealt with from the public. But basically, the public wants to know what is it that the health department will do when a person has been identified with COVID-19. And what we normally will tell them is that we normally will quarantine an individual who is suspected of or who is positive for COVID-19. The health department will check on every individual in the county that has been identified as positive for COVID-19 or who's under investigation for COVID-19, and we will and when we quarantine them, we check on them twice a day. We monitor their temperature and any other symptoms that relates to COVID-19. Those individuals have restrictions to travel within the county. And because they have these restrictions, the health department then go out and we will take care of any needs that they may have. For instance, any grocery needs or any medication needs that they will have. We also arrange for transportations for the individuals who may need to go to their medical providers or if they need to go to the emergency room secondary to becoming symptomatic for COVID-19. And finally, we assist quarantine residents with the appropriate documentation for paid sick leave benefits. Now, it's not just the health department that is working on COVID-19. As you may know, or as I alluded to earlier, we opened up our Emergency Operations Center. This Emergency Operations Center is staffed by all departments of Cattaraugus County. What the Emergency Operations Center does is it does the logistics for the county and for this COVID-19 initiative that we have undertaken. So providing PPE for all medical personnel within the county. They will supply testing sample kits for COVID-19 residents. They will assist for any local hospitals in finding more locations in order to increase their surge capacity. They do the planning for fatality for the county as well. They collect donations and for things like masks and gowns. They will provide us with the website for information on COVID-19 and other resources that are provided in from the community or needed by the community goes through our EOC. We have other departments that are involved in the EOC, like the Department of Aging. They will provide Meals on Wheels for those residents who are in need of some sort of meals during this quarantine period and or during this period in where we have asked our residents to shelter in place. We have the Health Department and Department of Social Services that will work on assisting residents who may need other supplemental income for food, for instance, WIC and SNAP. SNAP is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And of course, we have our mental health unit that is stand ready for anyone with mental health needs. Our mental health or community service department is there and ready for any type of crisis that might deal with those individuals who have mental health needs. And then finally, of course, we will provide shelter for the homeless. And of course, we will provide any other kind of assistance that residents may be in need of as the county is still open and running fully staffed, but we may not be fully staffed, but we are still able to provide the essential services that are needed for a county to run its operations.
And certainly the cooperation we've been hearing just like that from across much of communities here in Western New York. Now, as of last check, there are now 10 confirmed cases of COVID-19 there in Cattaraugus County, with 7 active cases and 3 people who have recovered. What can you tell us about the process of screening for COVID and what it's like when someone needs to go to the doctor to see if they do indeed have the virus?
Well, you are correct. We do have 10 residents who have confirmed positive findings for COVID-19. For a resident who wants a screening for COVID-19, they will have to have a script from their physician indicating that there is a need for COVID-19, as we are very depleted in the supplies that we have here to do that sampling. But with that being said, we have been able to at least deal with the number of requests that we have gotten from our medical providers' offices at this point. But we're down to almost less than 65 sample kits within the health department and less than 200 kits within our hospital. So those kits are getting far less than we are comfortable with at this particular time, and we're hoping that more samples will become available to us through the state and hopefully from the feds as well.
Do you have a timeline as to when those samples are expected to arrive? Because I know that a lot of counties across the nation are saying that they need more testing kits and they're just not available.
Well, and we're just like the rest of the counties and the rest of the state and the rest of the country who's looking for these sample kits that residents have been promised that they can have a sample or they can be tested for COVID-19 if they desire to have that. But that's just not true here in Cattaraugus County. We have no expected date of delivery for these sample kits, to answer your question, as those requests are oftentimes being placed off or put off for another or later date. And that's been most unfortunate for our residents of Cattaraugus County.
Now, according to a map, which is a great resource posted by your county on the county's website, kind of detailing where cases are and the number of people who are being affected by this, 63 are listed under a mandatory quarantine. You explained that process a little bit earlier here in the interview, but who specifically would that include? The people who are pending tests, their family? Who's under that mandatory quarantine?
Well, a person who has tested positive for COVID-19 would automatically go under mandatory quarantine. A person who has been in close contact with a known positive would be under mandatory quarantine as well.
Now, we've seen here in Jamestown that there's a bit of reluctancy out there for folks to be following these social distancing guidelines. Why is it so important for us to limit our contact during this pandemic?
Well, basically because we have no antiviral medication, we have no vaccine in order to treat COVID-19 at this time. So the only thing left in our arsenal as public health officials is to ask our residents to practice social distancing and to shelter in place at this particular time. Because if you are not amongst those who might be spreading the virus unknowingly, then you can prevent yourself and your family from actually getting infected by the virus.
Have people there been reluctant to follow these guidelines? What have you seen?
Well, we have seen that our residents, I would say the majority of our residents within Cattaraugus County, who's adhering to the request to shelter in place. But we do have a number of residents who tend to want to continue things as usual because they feel maybe that they are impermeable to this virus, and or because of religion's feelings that they are not susceptible to this. For instance, we have an Amish community that tends to want to continue their daily practice of going to school, going to church, having weddings and things of that nature, and that has become problematic for Cattaraugus County and maybe other counties that may have an Amish community. So we are working with them, working with the bishops, and we've been informed that they've just increased the fine for those who continue to have mass gatherings or who will not practice the social distancing. And we're working with our sheriff department in order to actually to find those individuals who are reluctant to practice these social distancing and mass gatherings.
Is that what the enforcement would look like then? Is the sheriff's office, if they get a report of a mass gathering where folks there could receive the fine?
Well, the first thing the sheriff's department will do is look to break up those mass gatherings. But if by some chance that is repeated, I believe at that particular time, they will issue a citation. And the fine for the first offense can be anywhere from $1,000 and can go up even higher.
Now, finally here, we thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast today. Can you explain how the virus spreads? Because it seems like at first everyone was talking about washing our hands and that we wanted to try to protect surfaces, but now federally officials have suggested wearing face masks. Do we specifically know how COVID-19 goes from person to person?
Well, it is transmitted through respiratory droplets. So whether a person is talking to you, a person coughs on you, a person sneezes on you, you can contract the virus through respiratory droplets. So that's why it's recently recommended by CDC that residents of a community wear masks when they're out in the public. That tends to decrease the amount of droplets that can be expressed from a person when they're talking, coughing, or sneezing. And so that's why it's recently recommended to wear a mask. But of course, you don't want to forget that the virus particles can still stay on surfaces for up to 3 hours, and some say up to 3 days.
What do you recommend to folks who maybe want to have a mask, but they're in short supply because medical professionals are in need of those N95 and the surgical masks that we so commonly see now?
Well, a mask could be made from material that a person may have at home, a cloth mask. It could be made from an old t-shirt. It could be made from an old scarf. And you can use a rubber band in order to actually make the mask itself. It does not have to be one of the surgical masks that are used by medical personnel or N95 that is needed for medical personnel who care for a COVID-19 patient.
All right, Dr. Kevin Watkins, the Cattaraugus County Health Director, joining us today on the broadcast. Dr. Watkins, we thank you so much for your time and appreciate it.
Thank you very much as well.
Now let's get a check of our weather forecast with Dakota.
Well, as we take a look at the pollens right now, we're still dealing with that tree pollen now as the trees are starting to bud a little bit. We're still up to the moderate category with the tree pollen. So again, just don't sneeze on anybody, sneeze into your arm or whatnot, into a handkerchief or something. Just don't sneeze on people. I mean, that's gross anyway, but especially given our current situation, just don't do that kind of stuff. The high temperatures yesterday, 56 was where we were in town yesterday, 53 in Dunkirk, also in Erie and Olean made it to 55 degrees yesterday. And we're going to have one more mild day before the temperatures start to fall off here as we go throughout the week. We're at 57 right now, 57 in Mayville, 60 at the Mesonet site in Fredonia, 63 by the water in Dunkirk. And look at that Lake Erie water temperature up to 41 degrees right now. And the Lake Erie water temperature actually ran above average throughout the entire winter. We got the data on that essentially from the National Weather Service this morning. Temperatures today, inland areas, some areas here should be into the lower 60s today with that sun, but unfortunately the sun is already going behind clouds today, and showers will develop here from west to east as we get into that frontal boundary. We'll show it to you on satellite and radar. There's the clouds that are starting to move in, but peeking back to the west, you'll be able to see the precipitation that's coming in with that weak boundary. There it is right there. So expect rain showers to develop from west to east today, and for tonight, not so much this afternoon, but tonight, NOAA Storm Prediction Center has clipped the far western southern tier in northwestern Pennsylvania under this low-end marginal risk. That's this green color right here. That's a level 1 out of 5. This is for this evening through tonight. A couple storms tonight could contain some gusty winds and maybe some small hail. It's not going to be a widespread severe weather event, but if any storms do become stronger or severe, it's going to be some gusty winds and some small hail. Here's the newest Runner Future Scan. Shows you that rain coming in from west to east. This should be just rain showers, but watch what happens as we get into this evening. We'll start to get into some scattered shower activity with some rumbles of thunder. This is overnight. Notice this band of heavier rain pushing in. This is going to be that thunderstorm activity. And again, within here, there could be some gusty winds and some small hail. It's not going to be a big time severe weather event. All that pushes out to the east overnight tonight. Tomorrow, we'll still be left with a few on again, off again rain showers through the day. But again, there could be some partial sun in between. Storm spotter training comes up 1 week from tonight on Tuesday, April 14th at 7 o'clock online from the National Weather Service at Buffalo. You can sign up for that by going to weather.gov/BUF/Skywarn. We need more storm spotters. You are very critical to what we do. Again, radar sees above the ground. It's only spotters that see at the ground. So sign up for that. That's next Tuesday, April 14th. Fun for the whole family. How about the next 7 days of your life? They're coming up right now. 54 degrees tomorrow, 44 on Thursday. It also turns gusty along with that. Rain and snow showers likely Thursday night and Friday. Again, too early to know the exact details if it will accumulate right now, but we'll keep you updated on that throughout the week. 35 is the best we'll do there. We'll rebound a little bit, 44 on Saturday, Sunday, Easter Sunday, a few showers, but we up around 15. We stay chilly into early next week. News continues 24/7 on at WNYNewsNow.com, along with our mobile app for iPhone and Android. We'll see you right back here at noon tomorrow. Have a good day.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
This is PJ Wendell, Chautauqua County Executive, with an important message. We are in the midst of a global pandemic, and it is inevitable that there will be cases of COVID-19 in our community. We are preparing for this reality and how it will affect our county. I'm greatly concerned about the economic impact that the closure of local businesses is having on our owners, operators, and employees, but we need to make every effort to protect our residents and our healthcare workers. These strategies decrease the opportunities for people to be in close contact with each other and spread disease. If you absolutely do not need to go out, please don't. Thank you.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Coming up on tomorrow's broadcast, Senator George Borrello joins us live with how he's trying to help at the state level combat COVID-19. We'll see you then.